What's up, folks? DC here, welcoming you back to another episode of Wolf Lodge. Now that that excavator's in, time to start concentrating on that tool shed.
Welcome to the next level. Wolf Lodge.
So yesterday was my travel day into the property for the weekend. Ash and I ended up doing 3 hikes yesterday and put up some decent numbers. My first pack, 1 mile in, food, clothes for the weekend. That pack was 58.1 pounds. And then my second hike of the day, 2 miles out and back. That pack was made up of tool shed components. That pack, 84.3 pounds. And then my third pack of the day, third and final one, that was my heaviest pack of the summer so far. 111.9 pounds, made up of the rest of that tool shed frame. So left the property this morning, heading back to the trailhead. It's a weightless hike, so time to start answering some questions you guys left. The Earthwinders asked, remind us again, is this Colorado? So yeah, in 2007, I left my home where I grew up in Ohio, moved out to Colorado into the mountains. Yes, that's where I've been living ever since, in Colorado. That's where my home base is, and that's where Wolf Lodge is, in the Elk Mountain Range in Colorado. Jonathan Pulling asked, how much time do I spend at Wolf Lodge compared to home base? Like I said in the beginning of the summer, I'm dedicating this summer to putting out a weekly episode. Right now, in this point in my life, that's where my heart is. I love being out here filming, editing, and building. And so I've structured my week to be out here 3 days a week, and then 4 days a week at home base, where I work a job to try to pay for all of this, especially that new auction addiction that I formed. Someone's got to pay for that. Jonathan also asked, how far is it between the two, being Wolf Lodge and home base? Let me try to answer that question visually. So let's say this pine cone represents Wolf Lodge, and this pine cone represents home base. Well, as the crow flies, it's only 14 miles between the two, but there's a bunch of jagged 14,000 foot peaks between the two. So I have to take the road 15 miles in one direction and then 15 miles in the opposite direction to get to home base. So 14 miles as the crow flies, about 30 miles around the mountains to get to home base. Jonathan's third and final question is, how much time would I spend at Wolf Lodge in the ideal situation? Well, in the ideal situation, I'd have enough money to afford a Jetson 1. And if I had a Jetson 1, I'd be out here full time. Redfield Coast asked, have I tried the Sherpa style load carrying with the head strap? So this frame pack that I use has this waist strap, and what the waist strap does is it takes the weight and puts it on the hips and alleviates that weight off of the shoulders and then off of the spine. Without knowing a whole lot about the head strap method, to me it would seem like it would put the weight on the head, which then that weight would translate down the neck and then down the spine, which seems a little odd to me and quite frankly painful. But that being said, that culture has been doing it that way for how long? Decades, if not centuries. So there's got to be advantages to that method. And man, I'd love to go down a rabbit hole and find out what those advantages are. And if those advantages are there, love to give it a shot out here. All right, coming up on the trailhead, getting my eyes on this last and final piece of this tool shed. This is the final boss, and I say final boss because I've been moving this canvas top around the last couple weeks out of the truck bed over to here, and man, this thing feels heavy. So I'm gonna load it up on my pack and we'll go to the scales and see how heavy it is. All right, empty weight, 165.8. I know, man, I know. I'm crazy, I'm crazy. You've already told me that. You've already let me know that you think I'm crazy. All right, that ain't too bad. Oh, oh, oh. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. There's no other way. Let's go to war. Once more into the breach. Let's go, big dog. To Crazy Town we go. Ah, smile through the pain. It's completely in. Oh, oh, that's it. That's all. The tool shed is in. Oh. Oh yeah. I think with this episode, I surpassed 1,000 pounds carried in to this property this summer. Time to celebrate that. Oh, I'm gonna celebrate that 1,000 pounds with my favorite snack. Dried mango and pecans. Upon reading through the questions this morning, I actually came across a comment written a couple weeks ago that I didn't actually notice until this morning. It comes from Killdozer187. Interesting name. Don't tread on me. He writes, if I want to experience the mountains, I have to vicariously live through people online due to a medical condition. Beautiful scenery and place. You know, if you guys spend the time watching these episodes and are genuinely interested in this project, then I consider you guys a friend. And while Killdozer, as a friend, I really do hope that your medical condition improves. And since you want to experience the mountains, I'm going to dedicate some of my time right now to filming a shot of the mountains, just for you. So while I got the drone out, let me give you a perspective on where the excavator sits in relation to this structure. Pretty close. Let's start building a tool shed. What do you say? Man, that's exciting. Hiked it all in, hard part's done. Now the fun part, starting to build this thing. All right, step one, finding, clearing, and leveling a spot. Now, I'm just uphill of the structure, and this was my original spot that I had picked out right here. A lot of trees have already been cleared over the years, a little bit of cleanup to do, but nice and level. But a couple days ago, I had a phone conversation with my good friend Brian in Ohio, and his first question was, where are you gonna put the tool shed? So I started telling him about this nice flat spot just uphill of the structure within eyesight. And you know, within a couple minutes of talking to him and gaming out the idea, we kind of both came up with the conclusion that maybe having the tool shed within eyesight of the structure isn't that great of an idea. You come in on the property and you see this beautiful hand-built structure. If you see a factory-built structure just behind that, does it take away from the experience? We kind of both came up with the conclusion that, yeah, it does. And so I'm gonna go with my second option that I had picked out. Just uphill of here, out of eyesight. Let's go see it. All right, this rolling hill right here is the spot I got picked out. Now this was my second option for one reason, because of a few trees that need to get cleared. But you know what? These trees can be used as lumber, so it's not a total waste. So to give you a perspective on this location in relation to Wolf Lodge, so there's Wolf Lodge. So as you can see, pretty well hidden, pretty well out of sight, but still close enough. There's the excavator ready to go. Step one, clearing these couple trees out. Went pretty well. Got a nice little clearing here. Didn't have to cut too many trees down, and the ones that I did will be used as a resource, but now comes the time I've been looking forward to the most ever since I bought that excavator. Time to start breaking ground and moving some earth. Now, I don't have a whole lot of experience using excavators and moving dirt, but what I do have is 17 years of moving snow with a snowcat. Should translate, right? Either way, This is gonna be fun. Not a bad start. Man, that was fun. Little annoying though too with those stumps. Anybody who's ever dealt with a stump knows how finicky those things can be, but all in all, I'm happy. Felt like a kid in a sandbox out here today. Really good day today. Got some hiking done, got some excavating done. I couldn't have asked for a better start to this pad. I'm losing daylight, so I'm gonna go make some dinner.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful. But we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and little children. Victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish.